Eat.
G'day, legends. You're with Slate and Jury, and this is the 3CIR podcast, where we pull big ideas into real conversations you can take on your commute, on shift, or while you're ripping through the gym. We're two ex-military blokes who've seen a bit, learned a lot, and now we're trying to make that journey easier for you.
Couldn't have said it better. I'm Jury, he's Slate. And if you're new here, welcome to the 3CIR family. Around here, we live and breathe 5 things: courage, commitment, camaraderie, integrity, and respect. Not just slogans on a wall, right? That's how we show up. 3CIR was started by Aussie Army vets who wanted to help our people find their feet on Civvy Street, and now we support veterans, emergency services, and civilians with recognition of prior learning and online qualifications.
That's it. Today, we're diving into a topic that's hot as a barrel in summer and twice as dangerous: cybersecurity. If you've checked the headlines over the last few years, you've seen it. Breaches, ransomware, companies losing truckloads of cash and trust overnight. Big organizations, small businesses, charities, even the local footy club. No one's off the board.
And it always starts the same way. Someone clicks something they shouldn't, or a password gets reused, or that old server in the corner no one's touched since the last office move is sitting there like an open front gate. Then suddenly you've got a long weekend spent restoring backups that don't actually restore. Been there? Cleaned that mess?
Same. If you're a veteran transitioning, someone in the emergency services looking to add a new string to your bow, or you're already in a cyber role and want to sharpen the blade, 3CIR has a cybersecurity course that's built for exactly that. It's online, flexible, and delivered in partnership with Asset College, RTO number 31718, for those keeping score. You can study at your pace, around your life.
And before you think, do I have to be a tech genius? No, mate. The course starts with the fundamentals and builds. Plus, if you've got prior learning, say from signals, comms, networks, intel policing, or even managing radios and secure procedures, RPL might put you way ahead. That's recognition of prior learning, and it means the experience in your kit bag can count toward your qualification.
We're going to walk through what the course covers, why it matters, and how it translates into real-world protection for your team. Stick around, because later we'll talk about the common traps organizations fall into when they try to roll out cyber without a plan, and how you can avoid them with a few smart moves.
And at the end, we've got a little teaser for next week, your first step into a certificate the fee, and why starting there can be a rocket booster for your career. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's get into it.
First pillar, fundamentals of cybersecurity. If that sounds dry, it isn't. It's like learning your weapon before you step onto the range. You learn the concepts that sit under everything: confidentiality, integrity, availability, who should see what, how do we keep data accurate, and how do we keep the lights on?
And risk. I love this bit because it's where military thinking maps perfectly. What's the asset? What's the threat? What's the vulnerability? What's the likelihood and impact? It's a recon brief for your network. You're not trying to be bulletproof everywhere. You're prioritizing based on risk and mission criticality.
Exactly. We also talk defense in depth. Don't just rely on a single barrier. You build layers, policies, training, network controls, endpoint security, access management, backups, monitoring. If one layer fails, the others hold the line. The course takes you through that in plain English with examples you can use immediately.
Quick story. A mate running a small logistics outfit thought antivirus was enough. Then a staff member used a personal USB they'd found at a conference like free candy, and bam, malware. If they'd had basic device control and user training layered in, that incident would have been a non-event. Fundamentals save you money.
Moving on, identifying threats. This is where you learn who's out there and what they're throwing. Phishing, spear phishing, ransomware, business email compromise, insider threats, misconfigurations, supply chain risks, denial of service attacks. The course takes real cases and lets you unpack how they happened.
People always ask, why would anyone target us? We're small. Because you're connected to someone who's not small. Or because you've got data that's easy to flip for cash. Or because your network is a hop on the way to someone bigger. Plus, attackers automate. They don't care who you are if your door is open.
And half the time, they don't break in, they log in. Stolen credentials, reused passwords, weak MFA. It's like leaving the key under the mat and being surprised when someone finds it. In the course, you learn how to spot early indicators, weird login locations, spikes in data transfer, suspicious MFA prompts, the kind of things a good SIAM or even built-in cloud logs can show you if you know where to look.
You'll get a handle on OSINT as well, open source intel. The stuff you and your staff share on LinkedIn can become the script for a tailored fish. Hey Ryan, saw you just started with accounts at Company X. Can you help me with an invoice? Looks like a normal Tuesday. Except it's not. You learn to see it before it bites.
Third piece, developing a cybersecurity strategy. This is where a lot of organizations get stuck. They buy tools first and ask questions later. It's like buying a scope before you've picked the rifle. The course teaches you to build the plan around your business. What are your critical assets? What's your risk appetite? Who needs what access? What regulations apply? What happens if you go dark for a day?
Strategy includes policies that make sense to humans, not just legalese. Password policy, acceptable use, incident response, data classification, and then you align tech to the plan, multi-factor authentication, network segmentation, endpoint protection, email filtering, disk encryption, sensible backup strategy, 3 copies, 2 different media, 1 offsite. That old 3-2-1 saves lives.
You'll also get a look at tools without drowning in acronyms. Firewalls that do more than just block ports, endpoint detection and response, log aggregation, phishing simulators, identity providers that do conditional access. The course won't turn you into a vendor rep. It'll show you how to pick and use tools that fit your size and budget.
And culture. Don't sleep on that. You can lock down everything and still lose if your people feel punished for reporting mistakes. In the course, we dig into building a culture where someone can say, I clicked something weird, can we check it? Without getting roasted. Early reporting fixes problems. Shame hides them.
Fourth, implementing cybersecurity measures. This is the doing bit. How do you roll out MFA without causing a mutiny? How do you patch regularly when half your software is older than your youngest apprentice? How do you set role-based access so people get just enough privilege to do the job and not a shred more?
Common mistakes we see all the time. Set and forget deployments that never get updated, backups that no one has tested since the last time they wore bootcut jeans, buying a security suite with 95 features and turning on 3 because you're too busy, and my personal favorite, massive alert volumes so loud you end up ignoring the important ones.
There's also the cloud misconfig traps, buckets open to the public, shared links with no expiry, default admin accounts left active. The course walks you through checklists and real workflows you can adapt. And it doesn't pretend you have infinite time. It gives you the 80-20 moves that get you the biggest bang for buck early.
One of those early wins is making the right thing the easy thing. Set strong defaults. Use single sign-on so users have fewer passwords. Give them a password manager. Train them briefly and often, not once a year in a boring module. Ship a phishing awareness campaign that's cheeky but useful. People remember stories, not slide decks.
And keep a playbook. When stuff hits the fan, you don't want to figure it out from scratch. Who do you call? What gets turned off? How do you isolate endpoints? Who talks to customers? The course has you draft an incident response plan and actually run a tabletop exercise. That means talking through a pretend incident so you're not improvising under fires.
Which leads to the 5th piece, evaluating measures. Look, security you don't measure is security you imagine. You'll learn about metrics that matter. Time to detect, time to respond, vulnerability, remediation windows, phishing simulation, click rates, backup restore time. You're not trying to game the numbers, you're trying to see reality.
You'll explore how attackers bypass controls. MFA fatigue prompts where users just hit approve to make the noise stop, living off the land, using built-in tools like PowerShell to blend in. Token theft, pass the hash, exploiting an old VPN box no one patched. The course teaches you to assume breach and build detection for that reality.
And it's not all red teams in hoodies. Even a simple quarterly vulnerability scan and an annual pen test can reveal absolute gold. Plus, red team versus blue team versus purple team don't get lost in labels. The point is to learn and tighten the bolts. Then you run it back and see what's improved. That's the loop.
If you're listening and thinking, I don't run IT, I'm in operations or HR or a unit manager, this still matters. Cyber is a team sport. HR handles onboarding and offboarding. Ops sets process. Finance sees invoices and wire transfers. Everyone touches data. This course is built so people without a tech background can meaningfully contribute. And if you're already technical, It adds depth and structure to what you know.
Let's hit RPL for a sec because it's a game changer. Recognition of prior learning means your service, your deployments, your radio debts, your secure comms protocols, your chain of custody work from investigations, your experience triaging incidents on night shift, that can count. 3CIR helps you map that to units of competency. Translation, shorter path, less duplication, and faster to a formal qualification.
Right, and the team at 3CIR has walked this road. We've transitioned from the ADF into civilian roles. We know that feeling of starting over without actually starting from zero. You've got skills. RPL is the bridge. Pair that with an online course you can do around family, around shifts, around PT, and suddenly it clicks.
I want to zoom out to why cyber. Now, we said earlier, the landscape's rough. Every organization is online, even if they don't think they are. The finance system, the booking form, the client list, the emails that make the whole thing go. If that goes down for 3 days, what's your plan? If your customer data gets leaked, what's your statement? You'd plan a field exercise with contingencies. Cyber's the same.
And let's be blunt, the consequences aren't just financial. Reputational damage can be existential. People decide not to trust you again. On the other side, the upside is real. Doing security well can win client contracts, reduce insurance pain, and make your team faster because they're not firefighting preventable problems.
Someone's thinking, I'm just one person. What difference do I make? Heaps. One person who understands fundamentals can stop a bad click, can ask the right question in a meeting, can push for MFA deployment, can test a backup, can write a clean onboarding checklist. Culture shifts because one person starts it, because one.
Let's talk practical with a mini case. Small healthcare practice, 8 staff, 1 shared inbox for appointments. They introduced MFA and role-based access, breaks out the shared inbox into proper accounts with delegation, patched their Windows boxes monthly, moved to a cloud email filter, and ran a simple quarterly phishing test with 5-minute refreshers. Result? The fake invoice scam that had slipped past staff twice the year before went nowhere. They caught it, reported it, and the money stayed put.
Plus, they did a 20-minute tabletop. What do we do if we get locked out? Who has the emergency phone numbers? Where are the backups? When they later had a real mail outage, no one panicked. They switched to manual bookings for an hour, informed patients, and had comms ready. Not glamorous, but very effective.
The course gives you the frameworks and the habits, because the bad guys are persistent, but so are you. You'll learn to think like an attacker enough to defend like a pro, and you'll learn to communicate like a leader, so you're not just the person saying no, you're the one steering towards smart yeses.
Quick nod to those already in cyber who want to improve. Maybe you're an SOC analyst wanting more strategy. Maybe you're in IT and want to go deeper on threat detection. Maybe you're in compliance and want the technical context behind the checklist. This course stacks with where you are.
And if you're starting fresh, it opens doors. Security awareness officer, junior analyst, cyber risk roles, or just the person in your organization who owns the security uplift. You don't need to wait for permission. Start learning, start changing things, and the opportunities tend to notice.
Now, because we're 3CIR, we're not going to leave you with theory. We've got resources you can dig into. Free videos on leadership, HR, WHS, security, business, marketing, government, project management. Jump on the 3CIR YouTube and you'll find them. Start layering skills, because cyber plus leadership, that's career rocket fuel.
And when you're ready, hit the 3CIR site, check the cybersecurity course page, and talk to the team. Ask about RPL. Ask how the partnership with Asset College works. Ask about the study load and how to map it around your life. You'll get a human who gets it because they've either served or worked alongside those who have.
Let's circle back to the traps people fall into when implementing security, because this bit alone can save headaches. 1, overcomplicating. If your solution requires 7 clicks to log in, users will find a workaround. Simplify with SSO and sensible policies.
2, ignoring the human layer. If your training is a once-a-year slog, it won't stick. Microtrain. Celebrate the person who reports a suspicious email. Build pride around being hard to hack. That's camaraderie in action.
3, not testing. Backups that aren't tested are stories you tell yourself. Restore something every month, even a small file. Build the muscle.
4, everything alerts. If your help desk gets 1,000 pings a day, you have no alerts. Tune it. Prioritize. Build playbooks for the top 5 issues. Automate what you can't.
5, set and forget cloud. Your cloud defaults change, your users change, your permissions creep, review quarterly. That 15-minute permission, tidy, can stop a leak before it becomes front page news.
And if you're a leader, budget time for cyber the way you do for workplace health and safety. Cyber is WHS for your data. It's not a one-off project, it's something you integrate. The course teaches you to embed that mindset so you're not hero rescuing every Friday at 5 p.m.
One more lived example. During a deployment, we had a comms blackout drill, exactly like an incident response tabletop. Who held the alternate comms, who controlled the log, who had authority to make the call. When a real-world outage hit back home years later, the same principles worked. Clear roles, simple actions, rehearse before it matters. This course translates that operational discipline into cyber.
I want to address the confidence piece too. I've met so many veterans and first responders who think, I'm late to the party. You're not. Your training under pressure is a feature, not a flaw. Cyber rewards calm, process-driven minds. You already know how to triage and escalate. Add language and tools and you're effective fast.
And if you're a civilian coming from retail, hospitality, trades, don't undersell yourself either. If you've handled cash, customers, inventory, compliance, you already think in risk and process. Cyber is just a new domain for skills you've used for years. The course helps you translate.
Before we wrap, here's a quick tour of what your week might look like on the course. You log in after dinner, hit a 20-minute explainer on threat vectors, do a short quiz that's actually helpful. Then next Arvo on your break, you skim a case study on a ransomware incident. Weekend rolls around, you spend an hour drafting a simple incident response plan tailored to your workplace. By Monday, you're already spotting one change you can make. That's momentum.
And you can ping the 3CIR team if you get stuck. That's the camaraderie part. We don't leave people behind on a hill. We get you through the content, we recognize what you've already done, and we help you map it to where you want to be.
If you've been waiting for a sign to start, this is it. The threats aren't waiting, but neither are the opportunities. Learn the fundamentals, identify the threats, build a strategy, implement smartly, evaluate honestly, and iterate. That's the loop you need, and this course is designed to get you there without blowing up your calendar.
So hit the 3CIR website, look up the cybersecurity course with Asset College, and have a chat with the team about enrollment. Ask about RPL, ask how to fit it around your shifts. And if you're leading a unit, a crew, or a small business, get your people on board. Security gets stronger with numbers.
You can also dive into our other videos: leadership to help you get buy-in, WHS to tighten your safety lens, HR to improve onboarding and offboarding, project management to actually run your rollout. Cyber isn't a silo. It sits inside everything else you do.
All right, before we go, you know we love a teaser. Next episode, we're talking Certificate 3, your first step toward a rewarding career. Why begin with a Cert 3? Because it's a solid foundation, real-world skills you can use immediately. We'll cover flexible study and support so you don't have to choose between your life and your learning.
We're going to look at Cert 3 in Business, Cert 3 in Business Administration, Certificate 3 in WHS. What those actually mean day to day and how they plug into different roles. Expect success stories, some career path maps, and a few myths busted.
Plus, why 3CIR stands out, community and networking that actually helps, not just a login and good luck. If you're looking at your future and thinking, where do I start? That episode's going to be your roadmap.
For now, lock in the basics, get curious about cyber, and take the next small step. Action beats anxiety every time.
Couldn't agree more. You've got the courage, the commitment, the camaraderie, the integrity, and the respect. Put that into your learning and you'll be dangerous in the best way.
See you in the next one.
And until then, keep your passwords long, your updates current, and your backups tested. You know what I mean?